Okay, people, so Dandelion, right? This is the new short film, right, from Gillian Simpson. Yeah, it's playing at Sci-Fi London this year, people. You know, Gillian wrote and directed it. She also produces along with Courtney Harmstone. Holly Buaga took care of the music. Angela Zoe Neal was on cinematography. Right? Gillian also edits the piece, right? Jodie Adams was down with the casting. Paula Jimenez is production design. Basia Wajas is hair and makeup. Our cast, right? Very small cast, but very talented. We have got Alice, played by Jayne Robinson. Her husband Jamie, played by Daniel Hippolyte. And their daughter Grace, played by Myiah Rose Richmond. Yeah. Okay, so we do have what's the film about? Obviously, right? Alice lives alone in the middle of a field of wind turbines. The constant thump, her only companion. She is haunted by the memories of the day her daughter Grace and her partner Jamie died, a tragedy that she can't seem to recover from. One morning she realizes that she never will and decides to end her life. As she dies, she is resurrected by a strange symbol on her arm and is confronted by her dead lover, who gives her a second chance at life, but guilt-ridden by the part she played in her family's death. Will she take it? Right, so we do have a director's statement, which is always great, right? It reads, when I would travel home to Scotland from London, I would pass through fields full of wind turbines, and I was captivated by their elegance and how small I felt. I had an image of a woman lonely in a never-ending landscape filled with these imposing but beautiful structures. I want to explore the themes of death and loss and the consequences of our choices. The wind turbines represent the breath of the earth, how we couldn't survive without them. But is just surviving worth it if we have lost everything? When it comes to filming, one of the biggest challenges was how to film on top of a wind turbine. I had the idea of using corner bath units, which was taped together and then filmed on location with a green screen. With my VFX background, I was able to improvise the whole scene in Unreal Engine, and so knew exactly what we needed on the day, and it turned out really well. Because of COVID and how in demand VFX artists were after that, I ended up having to do all the VFX myself, which wasn't my original intention. And because of my day job on House of Dragon, it meant working every weekend and evening for months. But I wanted to make the best film for all my cast and crew who worked so hard on it. I'm really proud of this film. We had an amazing, diverse crew with mainly female HODs, and I really wanted to show a female team could make a sci-fi film and deal with all the technical issues that come with that genre. Right? So, yeah, that's the gist, people. Now, yeah, it's it's an interesting story because, right, you don't get all this information. Now, at the beginning, we have a woman in bed, right? And we're hearing, the thump, 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 thump. So you're wondering what that is. But just from what we're seeing when the woman wakes, there's a clear sense of loss. Right? She reaches for a piece of clothing and smells it, right? And that tells you, yeah, there's loss there. Because, I mean, maybe, right, someone is away for a long time. But you're really doing that kind of thing when someone is gone forever, kind of thing, and you're trying to remember. So we get this sense. And, you know, it's just the way she's carrying herself, right? You just feel this burden. So it's not surprising when we see her on the sofa, you know, alcohol, tablets, you know, okay, yeah, I see what's happened here. But suddenly we see this thing on her arm, right, which is starting to kind of glow, and these tendrils moving up her arm. And that's this Lazarus device, right? Sci-fi is definitely interesting because budget, right, imagination, these are the things that can really, you know what I mean, let us know what we're going to see. Right, because that leads the film crew to be able to create. And, you know, sometimes you get these elaborate sets, and sometimes it's very subtle. Like Dandelion is more of a subtle thing, right? We get these kind of light switch panel things. And then it's more the Lazarus, right? They're our kind of sci-fi things. But it was interesting because it does, when you see it, you are like, oh, this must be a purge of some sort. So just seeing it, you do get an understanding. Now, there's not a whole heap of, you know, dialogue in this film. So a lot of it is action, right? Body language. That's how we're reading these scenes. And you're able to do that. You know what I mean? We're able to see what's going on, get a feel for it. That's not an issue. So we have all of this. And we do get a flashback to what happens to Jamie and Grace. Yeah, I mean, you can understand, right? You can understand where Alice is coming from, because it's, I think you'll have to see it, people. You're gonna have to see it, but it's not great, right? It's not great. So we have this interesting film that is playing with grief, right? You know, how Alice is going to cope with these situations, right? It's only 11 minutes, 45 seconds. It's short. So there's not a whole heap of time to really get into the minutiae of feelings. But what we do see, I think we're able to get that understanding of the pain and everything. You know, I think it's handled pretty well, right? Like, obviously, there could have been a bit more, right? There could have been a bit more on, I think, how it happened, right? Because that could also play into the grief. How did it get to that point? You know? The ending is a little ambiguous. Did I say that right? I think I did. right? Where we're not quite sure what choices Alice decided to make. I mean, it's interesting with the whole turbines. I refer to as cottages. I don't know. When you hear the word cottage, you do not envision this. But, right, it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, I could actually see this in the future. You know, people living in these things. Although I don't believe wind turbines are the most efficient way of providing electricity. So I don't know how many of these things we would have in the future. But the idea, the premise, yeah, you can see it. You can see it. But yeah, no, Dandelion is an interesting little short film. Now, Sci-Fi London, it's from the 14th to the 22nd of September. Now, a selection of films will be playing at the Richmond on the 14th, right? And the rest you'll be able to get and watch and enjoy online. So, yeah, on the website we'll have links to where you can get your tickets. You know, we'll have links for the film and all of that kind of jazz. But people, Sci-Fi London, check it out and you'll be able to watch Dandelion.